All right, I hope you guys are excited because we are getting ready to start on the retouching. So before we move into, smoothing of skin and everything like that, the first thing that every photographer should do is really remove those slight blemishes from your model. So that's what we're going to do in this lesson. All right, so if I come on down here, I'm going to zoom in to our file here, our lovely Melissa, who has been kind enough to let me use her image. So right over here, if I hit the Q key, it's going to take me to the spot removal tool. And you can see that there are two options like I just mentioned. There's a clone option and then there's a heal option. So let me tell you the difference between the two. So we've got, when you're using the clone stamp tool, what it does is it takes an area and from the sample area, it pulls the color and let me make sure I'm on 100%. It pulls the color and the texture from where you sample and places it where you paint. All right, that's good. We're going to hit the return key to go ahead and accept those changes. And now we're going to switch over to the healing brush, the healing portion of the spot removal tool. Now let's go ahead and do the exact same thing on the healing option. And then if I go ahead and sample at the exact same place, right over her eye, you can see that the healing brush takes the texture from where you sample, but it tries to blend in the color of where you paint. So that's the difference between the two tools, and that's why the healing brush tool is considered a smarter cousin to the clone stamp tool. So of course we don't want to actually see this in our retouching, so I'm going to go ahead and delete those two, and now we'll get started with actually getting rid of the blemishes. We are on our heal choice, and we are at 100% opacity, and the first thing we're going to do is come in and just get rid of a few little blemishes. So if there is a problem with the first area that Lightroom chooses to fix your blemish from, and you're not happy with it, because sometimes it can make some crazy, weird suggestions to you about how to clone over this area, all you have to do is use your / key on your keyboard to change around that area to find something with a little bit better texture that you want to match. Now, if all else fails and Lightroom is just not bringing an area with the right kind of texture, you can always click and drag and drop that sample point to where you think it's the best. But just giving you that extra little tidbit of information there, so that you can always change that sample point if you need to. But I found that for the most part, well, I was about to say it does a pretty good job of finding a sample point, but I've been mistaken. All right, there we go. And if you can't actually see the work that Lightroom has done to heal a certain area, just hit that H key like we said before, so that you can actually see the work that's being done, right? So hit that H key to hide the healing brushes, and then hit the / key to see the before and after, and you can see the work that it's doing. So we'll hit the H key again to bring back our access points. I like that one, so we'll go ahead and hit return. And now we're just going to work our way down, make sure there aren't any other blemishes that we need to get rid of. And that looks good. Let's go ahead and zoom out. And there we go. That's using the healing brush tool to get rid of blemishes on your image. So the next thing we want to do is just go into her under eye areas and see if we can work a little bit on those using this exact same tool. We've got her under eye areas here, and we don't necessarily want to get rid of them completely. I'm still using the exact same tool. Okay, that looks good. Yeah, let's look at this. So you can see that, firstly, it has pulled a place that doesn't necessarily have the exact same texture that I'd like to match. I'd rather maybe come down here and get a little bit more of that texture. But again, if I hide my pinpoints, you can see that it's really, really overdone, and it definitely looks fake. So what I can do is I can come over here to my opacity slider for the healing tool right here, and I can actually bring the opacity down using the slider to make it look a little bit more realistic. So what I'm going to do is try and find somewhere that looks realistic and still looks like her, but has just softened those under eye areas, and that looks about right at 38. I'm going to go ahead and accept that change, all right, by hitting the return key, and then I'll come over and do the same thing for this eye over here. There we go. It did a good job of finding a replacement area, but I'd like to just take the visibility of this heel up a little bit more than 38. Let's pull that up just slightly to make it match this side over here. And that looks this one looks a little bit better than this one, so I'll actually click that access point again to activate this pinpoint. And I'm going to just increase a little bit more of the visibility or the opacity of that healing brush area. And then we are done. Let's go ahead and hit the H key to hide all of our access points, and then really quickly use the light switch right over here to see the work, the before and after work that we've done. And that's it. That's how you get rid of blemishes using the spot removal tool in Lightroom.